Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll learn about web APIs. Firstly, we'll look at the definition of API. Then we'll see what is web API. Also, we'll look at what is HTTP protocol and discuss about client server communication. Lastly, we'll look at why do we need web API and why they are so important for us. So, what is API? API stands for Application Programming Interfaces. As the name itself suggests, it provides developers an interface which they can use to interact with different applications. It's kind of intermediate agent. So, what is Web API then? An API or the web which can be accessed using HTTP protocol is called Web API. It is used to extend the functionality of an application. So, what is HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP is the set of rules for transferring data in World Wide Web. It is used for communication between client and server. For example, on the browser, when you type something in the URL and hit enter, then a request goes to a particular server, and that server is called web server. The data you are sending from the browser is called request. The data you get back from the server is called response. That's how browser and web server communicate with each other in the form of request and response. This communication is only possible through HTTP protocol. Now we're going to look at why we need web API. Let's say you have created a fully functional website which directly communicates with database. Then after some time, along with this application, you need to build Android and iOS applications separately to support mobile devices. So now what happened is you have created three application which is communicating with the same database. So as a result, there is a duplication of business logic, and because of this duplication of the code, the your code is error prone now. So and also these type of frameworks are hard to maintain, as if any new changes, then it needs to go in all three applications individually. Now we will discuss web API thoroughly. So before, let's make a note that web API is not a technology nor framework. Web API is a concept. Instead of having access to code base, you're exposed to an API through which you're allowed to access all the code functionality. So this way, you use the code without knowing anything about the code base or the programming language or different methods or anything. So this is when you consume other APIs. As a developer, you're not just a consumer. You can create your own APIs and also expose them. So let's look at, so in the front end, it can be a React, Angular, iOS or Android app, or even Postman or Swagger. So in the middle, we have an web API which serves as a communicator between the client on the left and data storage on the right. You can use different frameworks that are available in the market to build web API, such as Java, Node.js, PHP, ASP.NET Core, etc. So in the client side, to show some data, you need to send request to web API. You do that by sending HTTP request, and API will receive this request or check the request requirements. So it can be request for asking the data or wanting to add new data to the database. Whatever the request is, web API will then communicate with data storage uh, to communicate with database. So they need to use a translator which understands both languages. For example, like C sharp code to SQL, vice versa. So there's an core framework for that. You learn about core framework on upcoming videos. So the language that entity core framework use is the entity data model language, which is C sharp classes as models. So basically, all the SQL tables are converted into C sharp classes, which are called models. So in these models, you can define relationship between tables and much more. While the web API sends and retrieves data from the data storage using a model, it will send response back to client using HTTP response. That's all for this video. So we learned about client server communication using web APIs. So thanks for watching this video. Please like and share this video and subscribe my channel so that it will motivate me to make more useful videos. See you in the next tutorial. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy.